Hello and welcome into the Blueprint Podcast. I'm David Lamb. Kaseys Birdsong and Drew Honeycutt founded Planet Fundraiser right at a year ago. In that short year, the startup has taken off like a rocket, securing more than $1 million in funding and partnering with the likes of Chick-fil-A. Now, the fast start is impressive, but the buzz around this startup is what causes you to sit up and take notice, chiefly because of the company's solid leadership. The man in charge, CEO Kasey Birdsong, joins us.
Hey, Dave.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You guys are the rage on the street in Birmingham, man.
I hope we can live up to that.
Yeah. Has it been a kind of a crazy? I mean, are my facts right? You all started this a year ago?
We did. We launched officially June 1st of last year. So we just had our 1-year anniversary of launching the app.
And how long prior to that was this stewing and stirring in you?
It was about 8 months prior to that where we went through developing an MVP product and testing that and really validating to the market that there was a need there. Users were going to use it, and made sure that we got our product right. Before we took it to market. So there was definitely about eight months of working through that and development of the product.
All right. So how did this idea hit you? Was there a eureka moment for this? You're doing something and go, yeah, we need to do this? Was there one of those kind of moments?
Yeah, there absolutely was. So in early 2015, make sure I get my years right here. Yeah, my daughter was raising money to get a T-ball sign sponsored in left field.
All right.
And I got to be the lucky parent that was charged with going out and soliciting for $300 to sponsor this sign. And as I approached these different merchants in the community, I thought, they're all going to love this. They'll write me a check as soon as I walk in and ask. Right. And I started getting a lot of really numb looks, and I could see there was a pain point there that they were constantly being asked. And one merchant, I just asked him, I said, can you do this or can you help me out? And he's like, you are the 10th person that has walked in the doors today asking me to give something back. Yeah. And that was the moment of like, there's an issue here. There's some friction. I said, well, do you want to support the community? He said, absolutely. The community is the lifeblood. And I said, well, then who do you want to give to? And really it was that moment that he said, we want to support the causes that our customers care about that come in here and shop and dine. And that was the moment of there had to be a way to make it frictionless to where these merchants could really give back to the causes their shoppers and the people that supported their businesses care about.
Mm-hmm. And all right, so from that moment, did you go into it thinking there may be a business opportunity here, or were you truly just doing it as a dad trying to help your daughter out?
Yeah. We actually started looking around trying to find another solution that maybe could be out there. So we thought, well, there's got to be a place, technology that we could use to organize and maybe connect us with these merchants. Right. And we looked and couldn't find it. Okay. And that was the moment of, well, maybe could be an opportunity for us to build something to really benefit.
And when you say we, who's the we?
Well, originally it was me, and then I started to reach out to the smartest people that I knew that had built technology, and said, hey, if you were going to build a technology platform, who would you use? And got a long list of names, fortunately, and met with all those people and shortlisted it down to, which was my first co-founder, with Peter Nicola, who's out of Boston, and then brought on Drew Honeycutt as another co-founder. And we really, from there, the three of us took this idea and started to make it come to life. Mm-hmm.
What has been the greatest challenge of the past year, getting this kind of up and going?
I would say really, because it's a newer concept, is getting the message clear so that the merchants and the groups and everyone involved an easy way to communicate the concept and how it works without confusing it. And it being new, and because of the Groupon and Living Social that came before us, they've really made the merchants a bit hesitant to jump on programs like this. And where we built a sustainable model, it's been overcoming that so that people can understand what we're doing in a clear, simple message.
Right. You've done a number of things. I mean, your career kind of run through from college Run through that list for us.
Yeah, that may take all day. I'll try to give the I'll try to give the cliff notes. So started out as a engineer, a mechanical engineer doing design production work. Moved into building wastewater and water treatment plants, large scale, multi-million-dollar construction projects. From there, started my own home building company, sold that, started a concrete company, have grown that. Have since sold half of that to the managing partner, and through that process, started another technology site that's still running. That was more of a passion project,
right.
And it was through that I really learned that I had a passion for technology that stemmed from building. And with technology, you really could build anything you could dream up. And it was a way to really create this network effect that you could benefit a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And that's where it started. So I kind of credit that back from the early days of being in construction, where I always had a passion to, take an idea. And construction is much like a technology startup. Someone has an idea or a vision to build a project, mm-hmm. or develop something. And then from there, you got to create a budget, you got to do engineering, you got to plan, you got to stage it, and typically there's a budget and a schedule you got to meet. At the end of the day, there's got to be a product that someone, an owner, likes and loves and that's useful to them. And through that, once I realized that you could change really the way things were done, mm-hmm. Using technology, that's when I gravitated to it, and really it just hooked me.
What runway has your experience, the lessons you learned, good and bad from it, as well as certainly the success that you've had, what sort of runway did that give you, and how helpful has that been with Planet Fundraiser?
Yeah, I'd say one of the lessons early on I've learned is to surround yourself with people that are a lot smarter than you, that have done, it doesn't have to be per se exactly what field you're in or what you're doing, but people that have actually, been a leader in something and that have war stories that they'll share with you. Everyone has the war stories.
Right.
And listening. So I would say that one of the best things that's always helped me out is finding people that are mentors that will take the time. And there's a lot of people out there that will take the time, fortunately, and listening to them and learning from their mistakes, mm-hmm. has been probably the secret for me to fast track in things I'm doing versus trying to figure it all out myself.
Right. Who are some folks who have been influential, either even on the national stage or the local stage? Some folks who have been helpful to you, and also, how have you been intentional about building those relationships, reaching out to people that you think could help you? Yeah,
I have been. I mean, there's so many people here locally and a few nationally too. Some of the people locally, I would say definitely Nate Smith, who InstaGift, who mm-hmm. Led the Velocity. Bill Dexheimer, who built Chip Rewards here in town. He was very instrumental in the early days of someone that could really pour into strategic thinking. Mm-hmm. And what I found with mentors is that if you ask people politely to have coffee with you, most people will do it. And it's kind of the thing I love about the entrepreneur spirit is that the successful ones have all been there before, right. And they'll take that time and pay it forward. Mm-hmm. And it's there's a lot of camaraderie there. And if you listen to them and you implement some of the things they say, or you make it your own and you go act on it, a funny thing happens that the mentors, they recognize that probably more than I realized early on, and they'll start wanting to give you more advice. Right. And it's really that they see that you took something and you acted on it and you mm-hmm. executed, and that becomes exciting for mentors as well. Right. So the network I've done, and that's probably one of the things that I've done, is really execute on those ideas that's led to a solid base of mentors that are constantly, that I can pick up and call, that are giving great advice. A national level would be Ryan McKillen, who was the third employee at Uber, the second engineer that helped build the company. Wow. And it just by happenstance, he was college roommates and best friends with a good friend of mine. And early on, we were introduced, and he's been there from day one with Planet Fundraiser, just giving tips about what to do and helping in the space.
How did you come up with the name Planet Fundraiser, and was that difficult?
Yeah, it was difficult.
Yeah, names. Folks get hung up on the names. Yeah.
There were so many different names. It was everything from. we thought about crazy stuff. There was Fundraiser, and then there was Earn Back, and there were so many things. But ultimately, we wanted to, when we looked at the fundraising space after that aha moment, what we noticed was it really wasn't what we call a sexy market. Nobody had really spent a lot of time implementing much technology in the entire market, not to mention the space we're focusing on. So the vision was to really create a name and a product that could change the way fundraising's done, with a focus now, but also it didn't box us into future products as we grow. So we were thinking, let's create a new way or a new world to fundraise and a way of fundraising. So it was the Planet and Fundraiser.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're watching, if you're listening, this may be difficult, but if you're watching, you have some swag on here, some Planet Fundraiser swag.
Yeah.
And you've got the logo, and that is a new logo.
As of 2 weeks.
Okay. Why did you change that? And tell us about that decision process.
Yeah. I probably was the only person in the office that kept fighting it. I was very partial to it, and it kept coming up. And I noticed there were multiple people in my office that would hint around and be like, hey, have you seen this sketch of the logo? And I'm like, what's wrong with our current logo? And it was a lot of resistance just because I was, it's your baby. I was kind of married to the original. But, it really didn't speak to our vision of allowing everyone to give back and just really forging with our user base and merchants in the community of love. So we put a lot of brainstorming into how it could change, and Platypie, a local marketing company here, technology company, really took our feedback and vision for it of changing it to something that speaks to more what we do, and presented this logo to us actually, and instantly everybody fell in love with it. And when I said yes, like the office started high-fiving because I was going to let them change it. That was that moment. But we felt like this more encompassed still the planet, but being circled with the orbital, which was the heart, which really is the things that the love for the community and giving back.
Sometimes I think CEOs hear the noise from employees, and especially those who are like, your employees are invested in what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, literally,
but
if not financially, certainly literally.
Yeah. And I normally don't ever refer to them as employees. They're team members.
Right.
Yeah.
But sometimes CEOs, because of all that you guys are juggling, it's hard to listen. So they would have missed all the hints of, well, what do you think of this idea? This, that folks who care about the company, kind of see the need for a tweak. You think there's a business lesson in that for CEOs that you need to pay attention to the people that you trust with your livelihood?
Absolutely. The one thing I try to facilitate with all of our team members is that everybody has a voice, and everybody should challenge everyone's ideas, including my own. And in fact, it really became a running joke about the logo, because they knew that I was a little apprehensive about it, but I wanted to challenge them to really think hard about what it could be. So there was a bit of play in from my standpoint, but I think it's very important. One of the most critical things that I've learned, I think any CEO can do, is that if you empower your other team members, that they know that they can object you and there are not consequences, that's when the magic starts really happening. When everyone knows that they can really bring something up, no matter if it's not even in their concentration, and that's what we've tried to facilitate, and it creates a creative environment.
Where did you learn that from?
I think just,
or is that just who you are?
No, I think I learned it really from just having an open mind, and knowing that early on in life, I think my parents really instilled in me that everyone is important and everyone has value. And you may not see what someone's value is when you first meet them, but if you don't, that's on you. Like, you should be able to talk to people, have conversations with people, and I've learned that if you do that and ask the right questions and genuinely want to get to know someone, that you'll find out that every person has some magic, nugget within them that is different than everyone else, that makes them unique, that's very powerful. And I think that's probably a lesson that came definitely from my parents.
Yeah. Talking about your parents,
Sure.
Did you grow up in the home of an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I did. My dad, he had a lot of small businesses. He was a small business owner. He owned a masonry company. Then he owned a construction company. And then there was a time in his life to where he went to work for a large construction company as a general superintendent. It was more steady pay and the ups and downs and that type stuff. So, but yeah, they're definitely he definitely owned several businesses, and I got to see the struggles and also the victories through that process too.
Yeah. Hey, David Lamb here. We'll get right back to the podcast. But first of all, a thanks to you for listening and being a part of this community. It means a lot. We love what we're doing, and thank you for joining us in it. Because of you, you're making it happen. And there are a couple of ways you can help us, if you don't mind me asking. First of all, if you would subscribe if you listen on iTunes, as well as leave a review. That's a great way to grow the podcast on that platform. Also, our Facebook community, just Blueprint Pod is where you'll find us there on Facebook. We release the podcast and the video from it on Monday. We have the bullet points on Wednesdays, 5-Question Friday. That we do that every Friday, so a great resource. And we're building a community of folks just like you, entrepreneurs, folks with big dreams, folks that are looking for help in achieving the life of their dreams. So join us there. That's how you can help grow and help us reach more people. The more people we can reach, the more people we can help. It's a win for everybody. All right, let's head back to the podcast. When did you know that this is what you wanted to do and kind of who you are in terms of being an entrepreneur?
I think really as far as back as I can remember.
Really?
I can remember in second grade taking string and making these like braided bracelets and selling them for $0.25 on the school bus.
Wow.
And we designed these little pictures that we would sell to the kids, all the way up through cutting grass, mowing lawns, those type of things of just always really have been dabbling in something and known that I wanted to run a business. Like, business is fun, and that's a hobby. It's a hobby to me. That's what I love.
Yeah. Was there a first big win for you? Because it's one thing to think this is what you want to do versus to have the proof that I can do this. Was there an early win that really was seminal in your life?
Yeah, I would say there's probably two. One is a clothing business that I helped my wife start, Game Day Girl Stuff, and she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So starting that really built traction fast, and we were able to get it to scale into over 350 locations, which was pretty quick, a lot of hard work. And most recently, I guess the win was creating a concrete company during the downturn,
right?
And growing that pretty rapidly. So that's been a pretty good win too, that I attribute to really the people and the management and the team members we brought on.
You have been quick, and you've said it several times. You give credit to surrounding yourself with smart people and your team and all that. I get it. I know that's the case. If you have a successful company, you have to be surrounded by talented people. One person can't do it on their own. But what would you say? Let's talk about you for just a minute. What would you say are your greatest strengths that you personally bring to the table?
I think being able to consume a lot of information from a lot of smart people and then plow through it to come up with an actionable, executable plan quickly, and put it into action, and then put the resources around to get that plan accomplished. And those resources would be probably the other thing is that I've been able to, I think, recruit super talented people that are smarter than me and cast a vision onto them that gets them excited to where they, sometimes they're managing me, and I say this to our team members all the time that sometimes they'll say, I work for you. And I'm like, no, we all work for Planet Fundraiser. And that's how I've always viewed companies, is that once you create a company, there's responsibility, and it's kind of like raising a child, that it is its own living, breathing thing, Planet Fundraiser and all the businesses, and I work for it just like everyone does. And if you treat it that way, there's a certain responsibility, and you want to nurture it and grow, right? You want to grow it up to be a teenager, and then you want to grow it up to leave the house and to be something really, really special. And that's I I think if you treat a business that way, it takes everyone's ego out of it,
right.
and everyone's working toward the same vision. That becomes powerful.
All right. Well, it's crazy to me that this really has been a year. You all have done a whole lot in 1 year. But what are the 2 or 3 benchmark moments in the short but kind of quick history of Planet Fundraiser? What are the 2 or 3 benchmark moments as you look back on this past year?
From wins or from just, I would say wins would be the first time that we tested, would people go shop at places if they knew something would go back to their cause? And would everyone involved get excited about it? And that was a test that we did, a one-night test at a merchant location that we promoted, and then we told a group raising money, a sports team, to tell all their supporters, and the place was packed out, and everyone was so excited about it, and that was a huge win. I would say the second win would be really signing up Piggly Wiggly, which is an independent grocer, great local guys that give back and love the community. When we signed they were early. They didn't even really understand the concept. We pitched it to them, and they just really cared about the community, and that was the biggest thing. Is that so you guys are going to be helping the community? Yes, this is a tool to help the community, and they didn't fully understand what they were getting, and they signed up, and they've been a great partner. So that was our biggest early merchant. Chick-fil-A obviously was a huge win. The partnership with Shipt here locally and expanding into multiple cities, they've been great to work with. So those all have been really big wins from the merchant side. From an end product to what's happening, probably the biggest win was about 2 months after we launched our product. We got an email from a mom who said she was a single mom, 2 kids, and the email was thanking us because they were in middle school, and it was the first time ever that she's been able to give back to her kids' school. In the past, she wasn't able to buy the overpriced products or really give back, and this was the first time she'd been able to contribute to support her kids' school, and that hit us all in our office of just we really are allowing people that normally maybe could not write a check to be able to just change their shopping behaviors, and now can support the things they care about, because everyone cares about something. And that probably has been the single biggest win for Planet Fundraiser, and me personally, is knowing that we are helping people who maybe feel disenfranchised or unable to give back, a vehicle that allows them to give back.
You in terms of merchant successes, Chick-fil-A, Shipt, Piggly Wiggly, there's a pretty good list of some big companies that have partnered with you guys. Any tips on how to successfully pitch, especially when you're pitching somebody pretty big where it may be a little intimidating?
Yeah, I would say go in, know who you're pitching to, number 1. But 2, go in and genuinely ask questions. Let them know that you're pitching them with a product that you have, but you also are wanting to know what their pain points are and what their issues are. And as you're doing that, you can pick up on the places of where your product can solve. If you have a product and you validate in the market, it may solve a multitude of problems, right? But in each person you pitch to, it may be there's certain problems that are top priority to them that's different. So understanding that, and then articulating your product, how it can help them out, and just really wanting to help them. And I think that merchants and people in general, they can feel that,
right?
And they'll give you a shot.
Yeah. How good of a day was it when you secured the $1 million in funding? It was
definitely, it was some weight off the shoulders from the standpoint of we knew we were onto something, and the families the people that worked with us and that are on our team, and knowing that, okay, we've got we've got this huge plan to implement, and now we've got a lot more runway that we can really do it. A lot of people don't know this, but 2 weeks before securing the $1 million, we had another deal that we killed, and it was a tough decision that we had to make, but it just didn't feel right, and it was one of those moments of, are we going to go forward with closing this deal, because it was hard enough to get that deal,
right? And
we really just had to trust, in the Lord's plan and in our gut feel of, should we do this? And there was a lot of tough conversations between myself, Drew, and Peter, and we said, you know what? Let's not do this, and just trust that it will all work out. And we literally killed the deal, and 2 weeks later, we had the whole round done by all different people, and it was nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah. Was that was the lesson there as you look back now? Was it on trusting your gut, listening to people? What is your takeaway from? Because that kind of sounded like that's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night, right? Those kind of decisions.
Yeah, I think it was all the things that mentors had instilled in all of us, and that we kind of put in the back of our mind, and those things started registering with us that, oh yeah, I remember, make sure whoever you raise money from, that you really can see them as a value add, or make sure you take money from, you can really see, it's like a marriage. You're going to be updating these people, they're going to be challenging you, they're going to be helping you, and are these people the people that you really want to be, quote unquote, married to, in the sense of going forward with your vision. Those things started to register, and there was some questionability, and it threw up some flags that maybe if this doesn't feel right now, this is the easy time. What about when we get in the trenches? So that was really the factor. Decision was like, we should probably not do this deal.
Mm-hmm. About this ride and Planet Fundraiser's success and where you've got it to at this point, what has been harder than you expected it to be about this past year and about getting Planet Fundraiser to the point you've gotten it?
Well, raising capital definitely had its struggles. There's no doubt about that. The other part really is going as fast as we want to go. Right. That you got to recruit the talent that can do it, and you've got limited resources. Although we have recently recruited a lot of great talent onto our team, new people, but it's a patient entrepreneur is much of an oxymoron.
It's an oxymoron.
But that's been one of the biggest challenges, is that we want to go faster, and going into new markets presents a whole new set of challenges as well.
You mentioned the challenge of raising funding. Is it were the difficulties there in terms of finding the right person to partner with, or getting people to see the vision in a clear way, and then a way that makes sense to them, or were both of them kind of the challenges?
Yeah, really getting connected with people that would listen to the vision, and that's really where Velocity or Innovation Depot, hats off to Innovation Depot. That was one of the best decisions we made, is moving into the depot and getting really plugged in. Right. To the tech world.
Did you have a relationship with them prior to this?
We did not. Okay. We did not. So we moved in June 1st of 2016, the day we launched the app, and we had been heads down working on the product.
Right.
And we moved in. We got to know Devin and Molly, who were awesome over there, and that's when we met Nate and heard about the Velocity program. So I would say Innovation Depot and the Velocity Accelerator, what those things did, it taught us a lot of things about how to approach the process of raising capital and how you attract capital, but it also connected us with a whole network of people that are angel investors in our Birmingham community that we didn't even know who they were, and we probably would not have found without that.
Yeah. So all of that is what's been harder than you expected. What has been easier about the past year than you anticipated?
I think getting people excited about what we're doing it's been actually a lot easier. I've tried to build another technology product in the past that did fail, and I learned a lot from that. But people really rallied behind our product and our team and our people. It's been a blessing, and that's been not easy, but a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Yeah. You've built other companies as you've, and some of them you started pretty young, so you've certainly matured as a leader, as a CEO, as a businessman. How are you different this time around versus some of the other businesses that you've started or run?
I think not settling for talent. Really, the saying is hire slow, fire fast, but really taking the time to vet the people you're bringing onto your team. Because when you're 3 people and you bring on a 4th, they're 25% of your capacity.
Right.
And not rushing to bring people on, and if that means you've got to work 15-hour days in the interim till you find that right person, that's been the biggest difference, and it's certainly paid off for us.
Yeah. How badly do you want to be a big win for Birmingham? You talk about that a good bit.
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, Birmingham is my home. I love Birmingham and couldn't see myself really living anywhere else. So the win is for Birmingham. There's multiple companies that are winning in Birmingham right now, and I'm so excited to see it and to see everyone, the common goal to win for Birmingham. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I hope that we're able to do it. We're fortunate enough to be in the name of all the other people that have done it. Mm-hmm. It means a lot.
Yeah. Are you a tough-skinned guy, or do the losses and the setbacks sting?
I'm tough-skinned. I think about them shortly, but then I don't look in the rearview mirror very much. I try to analyze them, feel the pain for a short period of time of why it went wrong so I don't forget, but quickly make a decision what I'm going to do differently next time and then go forward.
Were you born that way, or did that come about through experience in life?
I think I've always kind of been wired that way, just a continuous progressor. I'm always looking like, how can we go forward? How can we get better? And that's seems to always been baked into me.
Right. Where do you see Planet Fundraiser a year from now?
I see us being more of a household name in the Southeast, definitely, of a brand that people associate that gives credibility to merchants and places that are willing to give back, to really forge a bond that Planet Fundraiser is a facilitator and that allows the community to connect with business leaders of all types to really give back. And it's a place to where we are recognized, but more a tool to help all groups make a positive impact on people's lives, whatever it is.
Yeah. Final question.
Okay.
Where do you get your ideas, inspiration, encouragement? Where does all that come from for you?
I ask a lot of questions to everyone I meet. I'm always I want to get to know people, but I also want to understand the things that people are struggling with or problems they have, no matter what it is. And I'm a solution-based person, so I'm always thinking how I can help them solve it, or is there a way to help them fix the problem? So a bit of a fixer, gives me the ideas.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great to meet you. Congratulations on all the success. Kasey Birdsong, Planet Fundraiser, doing some great things. I'm telling you, the buzz on the street about this company is super high. So we are pulling for you guys, and thank you for taking the time with us. What we do here at the Blueprint Podcast, we love to tell stories like this in hopes that they will be inspirational and encouraging to you. And we're building a community, hopefully, that share the stories of folks like Kasey and what Planet Fundraiser is doing. We do that a couple of ways, blueprintpod.com. Also have a robust Facebook community. Just search the term The Blueprint Podcast. You'll find us there. A great way. All kinds of new content. We're developing stuff all the time. Just trying to be an inspiration and to light a fire under the Kasey Birdsongs out there to get off the couch and go for it.
Absolutely.
So that's what we want to do. We love doing it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on the Blueprint Podcast.